A bullet tears through the air, aimed directly at the teacher's heart. In that split second, a woman lunges forward, shielding her with her own body. The glass shatters, raining down on her as she collapses, unconscious and bleeding. The boy watches in horror as his mother, his strongest pillar, the only person he ever feared, falls to the ground. His entire world crumbles at that moment. His mother wasn't just an ordinary parent who threatened to hang him if he came home late. She was a warrior who passed her extraordinary strength to her son. Now, as she lies wounded because she tried to protect someone else, something snaps inside the boy. His eyes burn with a rage no one has ever seen before. The polite, glasses-wearing student who only wanted to form a study group is gone. In his place stands a vengeful son, ready to unleash hell on those responsible. But how did a simple high school student with dreams of ranking first in his class end up in this deadly confrontation? Let's go back to the beginning. The series starts at a high school. We see the teacher lecturing, but all the students are sleeping. No one is paying attention except for one student who is focused and writing everything down, to the point that he even writes down the teacher's insults. We learn his name is Yoon, and he wears glasses. Anyone who sees him would say he's a nerdy student. Despite studying a lot and being diligent, hoping to rank first in his school even just once, he unfortunately always gets low scores and ends up last. Even as a child, he took private lessons and studied day and night, but still without any results. That was until he enters high school and decides to turn a new page and get high grades. On the first day, he enters the classroom excited, but is surprised to find he's the only one wearing a uniform and following the rules. Half the students are fighting and breaking each other's bones, while the other half are smoking cigarettes. Despite all this, he ranks second to last, meaning he's considered one of the worst. He feels frustrated because he doesn't know how to rank first, but he refuses to give up. He decides to choose a student to form a study group with to encourage each other to study. The next day, he keeps searching among the students until he finds a decent and polite one sitting by himself. He goes up to him and suggests they study together. But before he can answer, a bully student suddenly attacks him. They keep fighting for a long time, and the class tries to separate them like a herd of cattle while everyone watches. This is because there is a system in the school, and each student is ranked according to their fighting strength. The bully wins, and because of that, his rank in the class rises to 170. We learn that the number Yoon saw yesterday wasn't a test score, and that this is his fighting rank. After that, the class supervisor enters, and they learn there is a new teacher transferred here who will start teaching them. But when she enters, they are surprised that she is beautiful and young. It seems Yoon knows her because she used to tutor him when he was young and always encouraged him to succeed. The teacher starts to take attendance, but the students welcome her their way. One of them throws food at the chalkboard. She is shocked and terrified by what happened. The students keep laughing and mocking her. But suddenly a student named Hwang wakes up. We learn he is the strongest in the class and ranked #1 in fighting. He goes up to the student who threw the food and punches him, breaking his face to the point of breaking the classroom door with him. The students keep watching, impressed by his strength. The teacher is shocked by what's happening. She scolds them and tries to stop the fight, but none of the students listen to her or take her seriously. But Hwang yells at them to return to their seats. They actually listen to him, and he goes back to sleep as if nothing happened. The teacher is bewildered by this strange class. After class, she goes to empty the trash can and is surprised to find it full of cigarettes. She notices the students smoke them in the yard normally. Yoon goes to talk to her. She is happy to see him grown up, but he asks her if she intends to resign. He tells her all the teachers before her didn't last a month. She replies, "Why should I resign? Today is my first day. It would be shameful. I don't give up easily." She asks him to do the same. He is happy with her words and promises to study. He then goes to the polite student to ask him to study together. He keeps chasing him everywhere, while eating, studying, even sleeping in the library. The polite student is annoyed by his persistence, but is forced to agree to get rid of him. He sits down to explain the problem Yoon wants, but Yoon surprises him by having written down everything the teacher says, even in gym class, any words at all. The polite student realizes Yoon is an idiot. He tells him studying is useless at this school and informs him the most important thing here is fighting. He tells him the school owner is a gang boss. His son made a ranking app between the students, and each one has a rank based on their strength. Because Yoon is a weak student, his rank is second to last. At this time, the teacher goes to talk to the principal. She asks him to ban students from smoking at school. He mocks her and says, "You try, I couldn't do it myself." He then literally whips out a cigarette casually and tells her to focus on her job and not interfere with anything else. We go to the polite student who enters the bathroom to wash his face, but someone bumps into him. He thinks it's Yoon and came back to chase him again, so he curses him. But he is surprised to see it's Hwang, the strongest student in the class. He apologizes to him, but Hwang doesn't accept his apology. He keeps hitting him. The teacher hears someone moaning in pain. When she looks, she sees Hwang with a few students gathered around him, beating him up. She feels bad for him and tries to ask the teachers for help, but they ignore her and no one pays her any attention. She decides to rely on herself and save him. She gets ready to enter, but suddenly Yoon arrives and stops her. He asks her to not interfere because the polite student will be his colleague in the study group he's planning to make. He puts on a mask to hide his face and enters with a fire extinguisher. He sprays Hwang and those around him. He clears a path and succeeds in rescuing the polite student. He takes him and exits the place. The teacher is impressed by what he did, but the polite student blames him for saving him, afraid of Hwang because he's the strongest student in the class. "Maybe you saved me, but after he beat me up, now he'll beat me up again because of what you did." He tells Yoon to go apologize to him, but Hwang hits him and asks who the masked person was that saved him. The polite student refuses and doesn't snitch about Yoon. He is forced to endure the beating alone. Hwang gets angry and reaches for the bat with him to hit him, but Yoon arrives at the right time and stands in front of him to protect the polite student. He succeeds in blocking the blow with his leg, to the point of breaking the bat too. It seems Yoon is a weak and miserable student without any skills. We see a flashback and learn that Yoon has been training for a long time and doing daily exercises to the point of developing unnatural strength. This is because he believes a sound mind is in a sound body, so he tries to build his body. Then maybe his mind will be good so he can study. "I'll do anything to rank first, whether walking on my hands or on a rope. Anything. I don't care." We return to the present. Hwang thinks he's just an ordinary guy fighting him, but Yoon defeats him in less than a second, striking him down to the ground with one hit. Hwang is shocked by what happened. Yoon goes to check on the polite student and asks him to form a study group with him, and he will protect him. The polite student refuses, thinking Yoon defeated Hwang by chance. He tells him, "You're a coward for wearing a mask," and then just leaves. Yoon is saddened by his words. When he returns home, he recalls childhood memories. We learn he tried many times to form a study group, but the students never agree because he always ranked last. Because of that, he would lock himself in his room and cry. His mother tried to comfort him, telling him he would eventually surely find a friend to form a study group with. Yoon wakes up from his memories and refuses to give up. He decides to try again with the polite student. The next day, the teacher arrives on time and sees the students smoking cigarettes next to the barrels. But the supervisor scolds them and tells them to go to their classroom. She is happy that finally someone thinks like her. She goes to ask him to help her, but he tells her an inspector from the ministry is coming to the school. He asks her to hide the barrels so they don't know the students smoke cigarettes at school. He leaves. She is shocked but is forced to do it for the sake of the students, not wanting them to get in trouble. She tries to lift the barrels, but they are heavy. A student named Park goes to help her. He tells her she won't be able to change the school alone. She says at least she'll try to do her part. We go to Yoon, who enters the class but finds a notebook with explanations of the subjects. He finds out it belongs to the polite student. He goes to thank him and asks him to form a study group with him again. But suddenly, out of nowhere, Hwang comes from behind and hits him. He found out the masked person who hit him yesterday was Yoon. He orders all the students to leave the class. He grabs the notebook and sets it on fire. Yoon sees what's happening and gets tired. He tries to put it out, but Hwang hits him. But our hero blocks his attacks easily. He strikes him in the leg, knocking him to the ground. The students are stunned by what just happened, all impressed by his strength. Yoon rushes to retrieve the notebook, only to find it already burned. Furious, he demands an apology from Hwang, but Hwang refuses and attacks him with a stick. However, Yoon effortlessly dodges all his strikes while standing in place. Yoon sends the stick flying out the window and beats Hwang, knocking him to the ground. Huang is shocked by what is happening. In desperation, he throws a burning bag at Yoon, but Yoon leaps into the air, blocks it with his leg, and kicks it back at him. The scene looks like something out of an action movie. The students are left in awe, and even Huang faints. They realize Yoon is a skilled fighter, someone so quiet that most of them hardly noticed his presence in class. The polite student is moved by Yoon's actions, realizing he did all this for him. He approaches Yoon, and they agree to form a study group together. Yoon is happy that he finally agreed and thanks him. The teacher enters the classroom and notices the burning bag. She quickly puts out the fire before it spreads. Just then, the principal enters with the inspector. He spots Yoon and calls him to his office, where he decides to punish him with expulsion. But the teacher steps in. She defends Yoon, explaining that he was merely protecting himself. She criticizes the school for being filled with bullies, saying, "You've been trying to cover up these problems all day. Our job is to guide these students and help them find the right path." The inspector is impressed by her words. He agrees to give Yoon a second chance. This decision comes after the teacher proposes forming a study group to help change the school. Meanwhile, the polite student walks through the halls and notices that other students have started fearing him. However, truth is, they were afraid of the gang that was walking behind him. They then approach Huang in the classroom and take him to the rooftop to meet the gang leader's son, the very person who created the infamous fighting app. The gang leader's son thinks Huang is disloyal for losing the fight and punishes him. The next morning, Yoon wakes up early to train and build his strength. We learn that this is part of his daily routine. Afterward, he returns home and pretends to be asleep so his mother doesn't suspect anything. Later, he heads to school and meets up with his friend, the polite student. Together, they visit the teacher's office. However, she informs them that they need 5 members to officially form a study group, and they only have 2 weeks to find the rest. They are taken aback. Yoon feels frustrated, realizing he now has to recruit 3 more students. But the teacher encourages them, suggesting they make an announcement to attract interested students. Yoon likes the idea, and they agree to go forward with it. They spread the word, but the other students don't seem to care about studying. To them, it's meaningless. Yoon finds himself sitting in the library, which they decide to use as their headquarters. Suddenly, a well-known bully walks in. His fighting rank is number 3. He has come to challenge Yoon, hoping to increase his rank and become the strongest student in class. His friends try to stop him. They warn him that Yoon has unnatural strength and defeated Huang easily. The student makes up an imaginary scenario about him. They say he's not human and defeated Huang easily. The student is not convinced by their words. He insists on fighting him. He attacks him and tries to hit him, but Yoon thinks he wants to join his group and blocks his hits without noticing, because he's looking for the registration form. The students are impressed by his strength. He was able to do that without even looking at him or getting up from his place. They are sure he is not an ordinary person. Meanwhile, Yoon is still searching for the form, completely unaware of what's happening around him. He finally notices the student lying on the ground and goes to check on him. He taps him to wake him up, but the other students misinterpret it. "Look, he's hitting him while he's unconscious," they exclaim. "Yoon is a real bully, number 1. The rumors spread like wildfire across the school. Every student starts making up wild stories. Yoon defeated him in less than a second. Yoon has wings and can fly. Yoon can control birds with magic. Yoon, however, is losing hope that anyone will join the study group. He decides to take matters into his own hands and search for smart students himself. "I'll recognize them by the look in their eyes," he says. But when students see him approaching, they get scared and avoid eye contact. As he enters the cafeteria, the moment he steps in, everyone freezes in fear. Then in a panic, they flee the place. Yoon is frustrated by their reaction. Do they really not want to study, he wonders? Just then, he spots Park and learns from the polite student that Park studied in America. "I saw the look of a student in his eyes," Yoon says, feeling hopeful. He immediately goes to talk to him. Yoon asks Park to join the study group, but Park thinks he's out of his mind. "No one studies in this school," he scoffs before walking away. Yoon, frustrated, sits with the polite student in the library, waiting for someone, anyone, to show interest. Just then, their teacher enters and notices their disappointment. Wanting to cheer them up, she takes them out to a restaurant. She treats them to their favorite food and later buys them ice cream, trying to lift their spirits. They end up having a great time, and she encourages them not to give up. After a while, she leaves for home. But when she gets there, she notices something strange. Her apartment door is slightly open. Cautiously, she steps inside and finds Huang waiting for her, badly beaten. It turns out the gang leader's son had attacked him and ordered him to kidnap her. The teacher, frightened, reaches for her phone to call the police, but Huang snatches it and throws it to the ground. He picks up a metal object and, with a pained expression, apologizes to her. "I have no choice. I need to do this to stay alive," he says. Suddenly, the power cuts out. A masked figure bursts into the room and takes on Huang and his men. He moves like a true martial artist, swift and precise. Within moments, he overpowers them and grabs the teacher, leading her to safety. When she finally sees his face, she recognizes him. It's Park. He had helped her before at school. "Don't worry, I'll protect you," Park assures her. They take the elevator down, but as the doors open, they find Huang and the gang waiting for them. This situation is more dangerous than it seemed. Park fights them off, managing to get the teacher out. But just as she thinks it's over, one of the gang members strikes her. She collapses to the ground and loses consciousness. Park is forced to fight them alone. He grabs his weapon and starts fighting them immediately. He slaps one, oof! The ones who come after him, he sends straight to their fathers. There are many, yes, but he breaks their faces. Unfortunately, the many defeat the brave. One of them strikes him from behind. He falls to the ground and the gang attacks him. Huang takes the opportunity to kidnap the teacher, thinking no one will stop him. But our hero Yun arrives just in time and saves her. He pushes them away from her. He takes off his glasses and decides to fight the gang alone to teach them a lesson in manners. "You mock me because I'm polite, thinking your strength will scare me?" Drawing strength from his father, he removes his glasses. He attacks them, taking them down one by one. Bam! Where does it hurt? Your stomach, you'll say. The next one? Pamper him. He defeats them one after another. No one dares to look at him again. They are shocked by his strength and realize he is a dangerous man. They decide to attack him together. But he grabs a ninja-like weapon. Using his kung fu skills, he stands in the middle and keeps striking them. Whoever comes, he knocks out. Whoever looks at him, he takes down, until they all fall to the ground. He puts on his glasses and goes to check on the teacher. Huang tries to attack him from behind, but Park saves him just in time. Park grabs a metal object and is about to finish him off, but Yun stops him before he becomes a criminal. Park gets angry, and they learn the gang was responsible for his mother's death. Huang takes the opportunity to escape. Park tries to chase after him, but is too injured. He tells the teacher to stay away from the gang because she reminds him of his mother, and he doesn't want her to meet the same fate. He leaves her and walks away, empty-handed. We don't understand the full story yet. After that, the teacher goes to thank Yun. She returns the book he forgot with her. They realize he needs to focus more on his studies next semester. She tells him to go to bed early so he can wake up on time for school. She leaves him and enters her apartment to rest. She was about to call the police and report the students when suddenly one of the gang members knocks on her door. He apologizes and explains that the gang leader's son forced him to take part in it. The teacher decides to forgive him on one condition. Tell me everything you know about the gang. The next day, Yun goes to school. He sits in the library with a polite student, hoping someone will talk to him. Suddenly, he receives a message from a student asking to join the study group. Excited, he runs to his classroom. He hesitates, but the polite student encourages him and pushes him forward. When he enters the classroom, he is surprised. The one who sent the message is a girl named Lian. But the polite student is terrified when he hears her name because she is Huang's twin sister. Yes, the bully student. He tells Yun she must be a dangerous person. Meanwhile, Lian sits in class. A bully girl approaches her, hitting her with a pen, cursing at her, and mistreating her. Lian remains silent, refusing to defend herself. But when the bully snatches a study schedule from her weak friend, Lian transforms. She strikes the bully with a pen. Grabbing her hand, she's about to break it. She tells her, "We agreed. You hit only me, not her." She warns her to never touch her friend again, or she'll regret it. The bully girl, enraged, stumbles to the ground. Lian threatens her, then retrieves her friend's study schedule and throws gum on it to seal the deal. Suddenly, Yun enters and catches the gum with his finger. He picks up the schedule, happy to see students who want to study like him. And the schedule, it looks professionally organized. The bully girl is surprised by his reaction. She asks him who he is. Suddenly, an older student named Kim enters and tells Yoon that Leanne is his girlfriend. He orders him to leave the class or have his face broken. The polite student panics at the sight of Kim. Kim is notorious for being dangerous. He averts his gaze and quickly walks away. After that, Kim approaches Leanne, scolding her for talking to another guy without his permission. He tells her she needs to be punished. Hold out your hands, or if you don't want to be punished, you know what to do. Let's go on a date, it'll smooth things over. But without hesitation, she chooses to extend her hands. Kim punishes her. Suddenly, Yoon throws the gum at his face. He stops Kim and steps into the classroom to defend her. Kim laughs at him. You think you're strong because you defeated Hwang or what? He removes his glasses, ready to fight and teach Kim a lesson. Kim lifts him, intending to slam him to the ground and break his bones. But suddenly, the supervisor enters the classroom and calls Kim to the principal's office. Kim has no choice but to obey. Before leaving, he places Yoon's glasses on him and promises, "We'll meet again." The girls in class are impressed by Yoon's courage, staring at him in admiration. After that, Yoon returns to the library and scolds the polite student for what he did. He warns him to stay away from Kim because he is dangerous. Suddenly, Leanne's friend enters and sits with them. They learn that she was the one who sent the message. She explains that when she first entered school, the bullies tried to harass her and take her money, out of jealousy. But Leanne protected her, and everyone feared her. No one dared to challenge her, until one day her brother Hwang was returning from work. Suddenly, a gang attacked him and stole all his money. Because of that, he was forced to borrow money from Kim. Kim agreed but secretly filmed him stealing, ensuring he would obey him afterward. Since then, Kim has been blackmailing Leanne, threatening to expose her brother unless she obeyed him. As a result, the bullies resumed harassing her. She refuses to fight back, fearing for her brother's safety. Leanne's friend finishes her story, revealing she will transfer school soon. But before she leaves, she wants to repay Leanne. She asks Yoon and the polite student to help her delete the blackmail video and include Leanne in their study group. Of course, the polite student refuses. He's a coward who avoids trouble. But Leanne's friend gives him a haughty look. He gives in, because she's cute and he can't resist her beauty. He sighs, "For you, my moon, I'd bring you the moon itself." They learn the video is stored in the disciplinary committee room. Kim is a member of the committee, a gang of students authorized to use violence. Yoon wants to infiltrate it, but the polite student warns him. The disciplinary committee is a dangerous gang. No one can enter their room. If they catch you, they'll show no mercy. Just then, two students attempt to enter the room, but Kim catches them and flies into a rage. He locks the room and fights them. Within seconds, he breaks their faces. But it turns out they're his own friends. Meanwhile, the teacher learns that Hwang has gone missing. She confronts Han, the gang leader's son, and the true villain of the series. "I know you're exploiting students and making them obey you because they owe you money," she accuses. She demands to know where Hwang is. Han laughs. "I don't know anything," he smirks. "Now get out of my way." Yoon enters the room. He had been hiding in the closet all along. He swiftly takes down Kim's assistants and reaches for the flash drive containing the video. Just as he is about to grab it, Kim seizes him by the legs. His strength is unnatural. They both go flying through the air and crash to the ground. Yoon laughs, managing to secure the flash drive. Assured that it's safe, he slips it into his pocket. Now he decides to fight Kim with all his strength. Kim fights back with unnatural strength, but Yoon holds his own, delivering powerful kicks and eventually knocking Kim out. As Yoon leaves, he's confronted by three gang members. Despite their size, Yoon defeats them, breaking their bones and securing the flash drive. The two gang members Yoon had beaten earlier wake up and join the fight. Yoon faces all five of them, knocking them to the ground one by one. They grab him, trying to immobilize him and take the flash drive, but Yoon fights back fiercely. Meanwhile, Kim regains consciousness and realizes the video is already on the computer. He takes advantage of the chaos and publishes it online. Leon, alerted by her friend, rushes to help Yoon. She's shocked to find him already out of the room, carrying the computer. As Yoon tries to escape, he stumbles, and the computer falls to the ground in front of the polite student. Yoon shouts at him to take it and run. The polite student hesitates, terrified of Kim, but he grabs the computer and bolts to the roof. Kim chases him, threatening him to hand it over, but the polite student refuses and hurls the computer off the roof, smashing it to pieces. Kim, furious, attacks him, but Leon arrives just in time. She grabs Kim and throws him to the ground, shocking the polite student with her strength. Kim tries to retaliate, but Leon overpowers him again. Yoon arrives and tells her about the flash drive. Meanwhile, the supervisor takes Yoon away to punish him, but the flash drive falls to the ground during the scuffle. Leon's friend spots it and tries to grab it, but a bully gets there first, thinking it's something important to Kim. Leon's friend, though cute, proves to be a fierce fighter. She chases the bully, overpowers her, and retrieves the flash drive, handing it to Yoon. Meanwhile, Han meets Hwang and reveals that Kim was the one who stole his money. He gives Hwang a weapon and orders him to finish Kim. Hwang, believing Han, heads to the school, unaware that the situation has already been resolved. He runs into Kim, who attacks him, but the teacher steps in and takes the hit for Hwang. She believes in forgiveness and doesn't want Kim's future ruined. She holds his hands, promising to help him, but collapses from the blow. Hwang, overcome with guilt, cries over her. Yoon arrives and carries her to the hospital, saving her life. Later, Leon visits the teacher in the hospital, apologizing for her brother's actions and offering to pay the medical bills. The teacher reassures her and asks her to join Yoon's study group in exchange for forgiving her and Hwang. They return to school together, and Yoon is thrilled to finally have friends to study with. However, their peace is short-lived. While sitting in the library, a brick crashes through the window, shattering the glass. Outside, a bully challenges Yoon to a fight to increase his rank. Yoon dismisses him, telling him to consider himself the winner. The bully, insulted, tears up the study group's poster and warns them he'll destroy anyone who tries to join. Fed up, Yoon decides to teach him a lesson. He leaps out the window, lands on the bully, and delivers a series of powerful blows, knocking him unconscious. The students are stunned, realizing Yoon is no ordinary person. He's a legend. A nearby student admires Yoon's strength and recalls a flashback. We learn that Yoon was once weak but trained relentlessly to become stronger. Despite his efforts, he remains stuck at rank 17 in the school's fighting hierarchy. Inspired by Yoon's actions, the student decides to join the study group to learn from him. Yoon, however, refuses, emphasizing that the group is for studying, not fighting. He kicks the student out of the library, but gives him a book of problems to solve as a test. The student accepts the challenge and leaves. Yoon visits the teacher, and the student stays behind to solve the problems. Suddenly, a dangerous-looking bully enters, asking if Yoon is the one who defeated the other bully. The student lies and says yes. The bully takes him to a car, and they drive to an abandoned warehouse. There, the bully introduces himself as a member of a notorious gang. He offers the student a test. If he can take a car key from him, he'll join the gang and receive rewards. 3 gang members appear to stop him. The student agrees, seeing this as his chance to prove his strength. He fights them but is quickly overpowered. The bully, realizing he's not Yoon, decides to finish him off. Meanwhile, Yoon and his friends return to the library and notice the student is missing. Park arrives and explains what happened. They rush to the warehouse, where Yoon reassures the student that he's now part of the group and will protect him. The bully laughs and orders his gang to attack. Leon takes on the first one, proving she's not just cute but fierce, breaking his bones. Park easily defeats the second one, and Yoon faces the third, who wields a weapon. Yoon uses the study group's poster as a weapon, hitting the gang member hard. He then confronts the bully, delivering a powerful kick, but the bully blocks it, sending Yoon flying. Undeterred, Yoon attacks again, distracting the bully while his friends join the fight. Despite their combined efforts, the bully proves to be a skilled fighter, dodging their attacks and knocking them down. Yoon, determined to protect his friends, uses a dangerous technique his trainer warned him about. He charges at the bully at high speed, hits him in the leg, lifts him into the air, and delivers a devastating blow to his head, sending him crashing into a wall. Yoon continues his assault until the bully collapses. His friends are amazed by Yoon's strength. As Yoon puts his glasses back on, a car nearly hits him, but the student saves him just in time. A young man steps out of the car, offering Yoon a leadership position in the gang. Yoon refuses, stating his commitment to studying and attending university. The young man mocks him and leaves. Meanwhile, Park, haunted by memories of his late mother, chases the young man's motorcycle. The polite student arrives with the police, who arrest the gang members and take the injured student to the hospital. The detective thanks them, impressed by their strength. Yoon, however, is nowhere to be found. He rushes home, mindful of his mother's curfew, and calls to apologize for being late. At home, he creates a group chat with his study group friends, excited to finally have companions. They agree to start studying the next day, and Yoon prepares coffee, tea, and snacks for their session. The next day, they gather in the library and begin studying, improving their academic performance. On their way to school, Kim stops them, claiming their clothes are inappropriate and refusing to let them in. Leon is ready to fight, but the teacher intervenes, allowing them to enter. The group is grateful to avoid violence. Later, the teacher announces they'll be traveling to Seoul to meet another study group. They prepare excitedly, but Yoon is late due to transportation issues. The teacher decides to go without him. They arrive at a prestigious school and meet a study group of smart students. However, one of the students refuses to engage with them, leaving the library. Leon is upset, thinking the girl is arrogant, but the student explains that they're also bullied at their school. She points to an old school where a gang of bullies terrorizes the students. Meanwhile, Yoon accidentally enters the wrong school, the very one plagued by bullies. He sees blood on the ground, but naively assumes the students are too studious to visit the hospital. He enters excitedly, looking for his friends, but encounters the bullies smoking. When they mock him, Yoon realizes the situation and decides to teach them a lesson. He transforms into fierce Yoon, defeating them effortlessly. He finds a smart student, gives him his glasses, and receives a call from his friends, who inform him he's in the wrong school. Yoon agrees to leave but takes the smart student with him. As they prepare to go, a bully attacks Yoon, forcing him to remove his glasses and fight with all his strength. Using his combat skills, Yoon delivers a powerful blow, knocking the bully unconscious. The smart student wakes up and, when Yoon approaches, greets him but only asks for his glasses back, seeming a bit arrogant. Yoon hands them over and leaves for the other school. The group jokes around, but the smart girl treats Yoon's friends poorly, still upset about how they were treated earlier. The smart student pulls Yoon aside, thanking him for saving him from the bullies. He puts on his glasses and tries to remind Yoon of their shared past, recalling details from elementary school. He apologizes for always looking down on Yoon because of his poor grades and asks for forgiveness. Yoon is touched by his words and says he's not upset. He's just happy to finally have friends to study with. The next day, Yoon returns to his school and heads to the study spot he and his friends have been using instead of the library. He finds it messy and covered in dust, but that doesn't deter him. He and his friends start cleaning and organizing the space. The teacher sees them and is delighted by their unity. They transform the place into a clean, functional study area, a significant achievement. Suddenly, a bully walks in, surprised to see the space clean. He's used to smoking there and tries to light up again, but Leon stops him, warning him that smoking is now prohibited. The bully mocks them, boasting that despite being a troublemaker, he's smart and always ranks first. He doubts they'll ever succeed. When he leaves, Yoon accepts the challenge and vows to study hard and get the highest grade on the upcoming exam. The teacher enters and starts announcing grades and rankings. Yoon is strong in fighting, but failing academically. They're shocked to discover that the polite student has scored well and is now second in the school. The teacher reminds them they have 20 days left until the exams and urges them to study harder. The group decides to commit to their studies, but as they leave, the polite student receives a call from his father. He's forced to leave school and work to support himself. He recalls his childhood, how he was always smart and got good grades, but his family's poverty led to constant fighting at home. The other kids bullied him, jealous of his intelligence, and no one wanted to be his friend. He snaps out of his memories and Leon walks with him, sensing his lack of confidence. She tells him he's special and that they're proud to be his friends. It's clear she has feelings for him. The polite student is moved by her words and thanks her, but suddenly they run into a group of bullies. The bullies beat the polite student and mock him for being weak. Leon tries to defend him, but the lead bully girl hits her too. The polite student gathers his courage and tries to save Leon, but the bully knocks him to the ground, taunting, "I'll take your girlfriend since you're too weak to protect her." Just then, Yoon arrives and flicks the bully with his finger, sending him flying. He jokes that the bully wouldn't survive if he used 2 fingers. Everyone is stunned by Yoon's strength. The bully's friends try to film the incident to report Yoon to the principal, but Yoon is faster. He kicks their phones, deletes the footage, and checks on the polite student. Yoon feels a bit embarrassed for his friend, who couldn't defend himself. When the polite student returns home, his father scolds him for being unemployed and demands he start working. The polite student snaps back, saying, "I'll finish my studies and get a job after I graduate. I don't want to end up like you, sitting at home doing nothing." He storms out but finds Yoon waiting outside. Yoon offers to let him stay at his house, but the polite student feels insulted, tired of always being the one who needs help. He refuses, saying, "I'm not a kid, I can take care of myself." He leaves and Yoon wants to stay with him, but he only has 15 minutes before he has to go home. Yoon's mother will worry if he's late, so he's forced to leave. The polite student heads to work but is ambushed by the bully, who's furious and seeking revenge. The bully attacks him and the polite student feels helpless, certain his end is near. Suddenly, Yoon calls him. Yoon is watching from a high vantage point and starts giving him advice on how to defend himself. The polite student, being smart, follows Yoon's instructions perfectly. He dodges the bully's attacks until the bully tires himself out. The polite student seizes the opportunity and knocks the bully to the ground, but the call disconnects. The bully, enraged, starts hitting him with full force, determined to make Yoon regret interfering. Yoon sees what's happening, gets upset, and races to save his friend. But for the first time, the polite student gathers his courage and headbutts the bully, knocking him unconscious. When Yoon arrives, he's amazed that his friend managed to defend himself. He takes the polite student to his house, but when they arrive, Yoon's mother is waiting, furious because Yoon is late. The polite student notices that despite Yoon's incredible strength, he's terrified of his mother. She's the only one who can control him. Yoon apologizes for causing trouble, and his mother announces she's transferring him to another school. Yoon is devastated because he's finally found friends. That night, he offers the polite student his bed, but the student refuses. They argue until both end up sleeping on the floor. The next day, Yoon's mother goes to the school to finalize his transfer. His friends are shocked but reassured because no school would accept Yoon with his near-zero grades. Yoon is relieved he'll stay with them, but as he leaves the principal's office, he overhears his mother saying she's transferring him to Seoul. He's stunned, and the group decides to prove to her that their school is worth staying at. They chase a student who's smoking, lock him in a classroom, and spray air freshener to mask the smell. Their plan fails when Yoon's mother notices cigarette butts on the ground. They try to stall until their teacher arrives, explaining that the polite student is smart and ranks second in the school, studying with Yoon. But Yoon's mother doesn't care about grades. She only cares about behavior. She leaves and the group feels defeated. However, the teacher arrives and encourages them not to give up. She drives them at full speed to catch Yoon before he's transferred. Along the way, the bully and his gang block their path with motorcycles, trying to stop Yoon from staying at the school. Leon gets out of the car and starts fighting them alone. Despite her cute appearance, she's not weak. Her ninja-like friend joins her, and together they defeat many of the gang members. The teacher speeds past the remaining obstacles, but the bully corners the ninja and breaks his bones. The ninja, remembering his training with Yoon, uses a secret move, flying through the air and kicking the bully. Meanwhile, Yoon's friends reach the new school and plead with his mother to let him stay. They explain that Yoon is their friend and the leader of their study group. At first, Yoon's mother refuses, but when she sees the teacher, she changes her mind. The teacher explains their plan to change the school system and eliminate fighting. Yoon's mother is moved by their efforts and decides to let Yoon stay. However, the gang arrives and takes control of the school, threatening the teacher. Yoon's mother steps in, revealing her own strength. She's just as powerful as Yoon. She and Yoon fight the gang together, defeating them with ease. The gang's deputy tries to shoot the teacher, but Yoon's mother shields her, and the bullet shatters a window instead. She faints and Yoon is devastated, vowing revenge on Han, the gang leader. The next day, Yoon confronts Han on the school roof. Han's guards attack Yoon, but he fights back with everything he has. Using forbidden techniques, he defeats them all and finally faces Han. Yoon delivers a powerful blow, teaching him a lesson in front of everyone. "No one here will ever dare to look you in the eye again," Yoon declares. With that, the first part of the series ends with Yoon and his friends standing stronger than ever, ready to face whatever challenges come next. I hope you enjoyed this journey as much as I did. Stay tuned for more.